And it was like a running joke, but I would fall down the stairs at our house like probably every other day.
Yeah, that was me.
It was just like you'd fall and your heels would slip, you fall down backwards, you'd fall down forwards, you slip sideways. And I was like the clumsiest son of a bitch until growing kind of tapered off.
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah.
Tapered off for me.
We're back here indoors now. It's
Just so we can show the pool table.
and it's a typical Dutch day, so it is actually a little windier than it has been the last couple days.
Yeah, it's not as nice today.
Yeah, so
we're back to Holland.
we're indoors. Did we even talk about the pool table, by the way, before?
No, we can talk about it, just no one can play on it. That's all. Like we're making the jokes because my daughter started. I came back home and things were different, and I was like, "You touched my table, didn't you?" She was like, "Well, not exactly." I'm like, "No. It's a yes or no answer."
Yeah.
It's like I know you touched my steak. Like that steak, it's called a Sean Q, and it's a very nice one. And I knew she touched it. She was like, "Well," so we had to have a conversation. And then as Tyler was asking, it's like, "Is that a big deal?" Fuck yes, it is. And as I was saying, there will be less people touching that steak than touching that steak. There'll be 2 people touching that one. There'll be 1 person touching that one. Just so everybody's clear.
I remember.
Like the whole crowd knows now.
Yes, but my wife even messaged me yesterday because she saw we had filmed after they set up the pool table. She said, "Oh, did you play it at all?" And
No.
I was like, "Honey, it's not that kind of pool table."
No, it's not. It is not for entertainment. It is for my practice.
We just finished up the gathering yesterday.
Yep.
We have open house out at the gym. We're going to scoot to next, but
Possibly.
yeah,
There's a lot of people.
there is a lot of people.
Yeah.
But it went really well. We had some cool speakers that came in, and Ray, who was on the podcast last week, a couple weeks ago, was there. That was really good. Andrew talked performance.
2 days ago. Yeah.
Yeah. And then
I love when you refer to the dates.
Yeah, I don't know. It's a bad habit. It's a podcast habit. Release day or recording day. There's
Recording day for me still. Yeah.
But it was interesting to me was you had brought up almost right away in the beginning of that the information behind maybe the study we'll get into today.
Yeah.
Which was funny to me because I woke up that morning to a message with this study and look at it. And the first thing I had to send you was like, well, I'm interpreting it as this. And you're like, exactly, that's wrong.
Exactly.
And I looked at it, it's like everything says this, and it was close, but it was incomplete. Like what they said it was kind of right, but they left out a thing that makes that not matter.
Yeah, and I think it's actually far more nefarious than kind of.
Yeah.
I don't think it's an oversight.
Yeah.
We're gonna talk about it. I'll do like a peer review of the study because it's an excellent study with far-reaching conclusions.
Yeah.
Except not the ones they came up with, and we're gonna talk about it.
Yeah. So, but what I liked about it was, you threw it on in like a day, and all of a sudden it's come to this thing where it's because there just ties a lot of things together still.
Yeah.
Like everything it does, you come in and you find out what fits with what you're working with.
Well,
now.
what I went through through logical evidence, what was obvious to me was just proven through that empirical study.
Yeah.
So it's a big piece of proof.
Yeah.
It's not a big piece. It's a big piece of evidence. It's not a big piece of discovery for me because that I came to those conclusions through different means.
Yeah.
Already, not through that particular kind of study where they went at nutrition and just did it on rats and everything. I went through it through the other part of the nervous system, and again, logical evidence because there was no other way possible that what this proved.
Yeah.
So, again, to me, it wasn't like, oh my God, I did not understand that. It was like, yes, but here's your proof.
Yeah.
So for me, it's an invaluable tool to explain to people what I've been saying. But like, look, there's a study. That's what it says to show people what we meant before.
Yeah.
So
do we want to dive into that
bias,
first,
yes.
or do we want to talk?
No,
about
let's talk
some
about
of the stuff we did at the gathering?
let's talk about the gathering. Then I'll do the stuff.
Okay, perfect. So we had, you came up and spoke, which we'll get into that stuff later. Ray from the Podcast 4 came in, really, really, really good talk actually on not so much like fully integrating StrongFit stuff into CrossFit, but really that it already is like it already lines up because there's not separateness.
Because it's not mine.
Yes, exactly.
That's what people. By the way, Ray, for the ones who don't know, is Ray Regno. He's part of the level 1 and level 2 certification at CrossFit, and on the side he was the head of CrossFit Olympic weightlifting under the Bergener umbrella.
Yeah.
And so, but he works on both sides. He does the L1, L2 certs, and he does the StrongFit Olympic weightlifting. And so I talked to him because I had Coach Bergener coming to my seminar, and we talked a lot. And then so one day we did like a 1 hour FaceTime call with Ray, and we found we shared a lot of the same idea, and he was blown up by like the whole tension over our position, because he basically crystallized a lot of stuff he was feeling but could not necessarily put words to. And I was like, all right, so this is what we've been doing. This is the conclusion I drawn from all the stuff. And he was like, oh, that's awesome. So then he started to integrate the principles within CrossFit, because StrongFit is not a system. It's not like an antithesis of CrossFit. It's not a system in the way people think. CrossFit in a way is a word. It doesn't exist. It's what I'm trying to put forward is a learning system. Is in a sense, not even a system in that sense, in a sense of helping people learn better and faster.
Yeah. And with
this is a learning tool.
And with whatever it is that they're in the middle of.
It's a learning tool. That's what StrongFit is.
Yeah.
I just not even came up with. I gathered a set of principles that would allow you to learn better, not even faster, just better, but not just also as an athlete, as a human being. Like, how do we human beings learn? Why do they move the way they do? Why do they do the mistakes the way they do? Where are the blind spots? All that stuff. That's what StrongFit is. It's a learning tool.
Yeah.
That's also, it can be applied to anything. That's why like a lot of people criticize StrongFit and say, oh, I don't do that. Or say, you don't, there is no StrongFit. So you cannot not do it.
Yeah. There's just information that you can either turn into knowledge or you can dismiss.
But those are a set of principles that are not mine.
Yeah.
I didn't come up with E equals MC squared. Einstein did. Yeah. I mean, like, but that doesn't mean I can't use it.
Yeah.
So, but it's the same thing. Like a lot of the stuff that I talk about is out there. It's not me coming out of the blue with random information. It's stuff that I learned through a lifetime of curiosity.
Yeah.
Going like, say, from Newton to Einstein to Friston to, and then, you know, Leonard Susskind and all the stuff. And then you realize what I'm good at is drawing patterns between that. I'm a contextualist. So I'm very good at drawing patterns between established facts that most people don't seem to put together. So that's all I do, is I put the stuff together.
Yeah, and that's always been I mean, I'll use the word skill, but I think for you it's just kind of the way that you are. But that's been that way. It was that way when movement was the largest percentage of what we were working on, because you would see patterns. It was pattern recognition.
No, it was the largest part I was talking about.
Yeah, but the pattern recognition was really what you were teaching almost, right?
But
and now it's those same patterns applied. It's like, oh, the same seeing patterns now you're taking into learning.
Pattern recognition happened when I'm 18 reading Freud and linking it to Nietzsche. If you look, Freud is a medical equivalency follow-up on Nietzsche's writings. I could go into an entire podcast on that, but if you read Thus Spake Zarathustra, and then you go into the id and the superego that Freud talks about, it's basically Nietzsche stuff explained in medical terms.
Yeah.
So humans have done that through the history of mankind. Those are ideas. Nietzsche didn't come up with the idea either. Like the Superman is just a crystallization of an idea that has been there for a long time, but he's not talking about Superman, by the way. He's talking about the evolution of humans. You could look at it from evolutionary biology and understand what it means. The point is, it's an idea that people put words to. Nietzsche put beautiful words toward an idea and thus Spake Zarathustra in order to communicate that idea out there. And he did it in a philosophical, most poetic way.
Yeah.
Like Thus Spake Zarathustra is more a poem than it is a philosophical book, right? And then Freud took it and furthered the idea, but from the medical perspective, and created psychoanalysis based on that. But what Freud was doing really is a study of humans, just like Nietzsche did. Mm-hmm. Those are basically a study on the human condition from two different perspectives. That's what, not at their level obviously, but that is what I do. I study humans.
Yeah.
That's it.
And it's interesting because you'll take the human patterns that you see, and then when you're out seeking other information, it's like you'll see, okay, this thing I've kind of recognized, it is quantified somewhere by something. And what it is the patterns that you see, I notice, sometimes you can't articulate those.
I just know it's there.
You know it's there, but it's like, how do I tell it to him? Because your brain works different than Kayla's, than mine.
And how do I convince people it's there?
Yes.
Like, because that's the reason the studies is because a lot of people are like, fine, but you need to prove it to me. First of all, no, I don't, because I don't owe you anything.
Yeah.
But in the interest of mankind, not StrongFit, people need to be shown that the science is at least that kind of science, empirical evidence is turning into a form of religion right now, especially in the fitness world, where everybody needs validation from a higher authority. They don't understand empirical evidence, and then I'm going to do the peer review of that study today and show you that the problem is that no one actually reads the study. They only read the conclusions, and I'm going to show you why that's a problem. Right, just like almost no one reads the Bible, they should listen to the pastor up there telling you the stuff. So whenever that pastor happens to defend Trump, everybody's like, yeah, Trump is anointed by God. No, because you didn't read the Bible. You should make up your mind on your own on this, but you're not, because like most people, you won't take the time to do it. You just take the word of a higher authority for you. So if you don't take the word directly from God, because you don't hear him talk, or if you talk to him, it's one thing. If you hear him talk, it's called schizophrenia.
Yeah. Record it.
That's exactly, please, because that's a whole different ballgame. But so you're taking the word of your pastor, of some. So that's a little bit what they're doing with empirical evidence right now. Is no one ever challenges me on the logical fallacy or veracity of my point. Am I right in the logical argument that I make? No one ever has challenged me on that. Yeah. There is such a thing as a logical argumentation of a point.
Yeah.
But no one ever does.
Which is kind of where I'd like to start often, just because it's like fundamentally where you're coming from doesn't make sense, and that's an easier way to dismiss
what people don't understand is like there are facts, like I'm going to show you. That study had showed some facts. The problem is not that. The problem is the conclusion drawn from those facts. Because there's a leap usually between what, for example, those facts, but those facts stop somewhere because we can't study everything about humans because we don't know everything about humans. So at some point there has to be a leap, and that leap is based on logical evidence, is based on logical argumentation, just like is philosophy, just like is mathematics. Mathematics is pure logical evidence because you can't test mathematics. It's written on a piece of paper. There is no such thing as mathematics. Yeah. Mathematics is no E equals mc squared. The universe doesn't give a shit about E equals mc squared. The universe existed before Einstein said it, and the universe will exist whether Einstein said it or not. So it's just a way to explain certain forces in the universe, but it's a way for us. The universe doesn't care. Right? So it's the same thing with a lot of that. The problem is they want validation, so they look at the abstract of a study or the conclusion, but not the study itself. No matter what they say, most of you don't. Give me a break. Like most of us don't, because it's just a fucking. And by the way, even if you read the stuff, are you conducting the study yourself? Are you trying to repeat the study?
And I think that's where it really is, because when we move from the subject matter of Ray's, which is very much integration with CrossFit, into what Andrew talked about, which is on the performance side. There's certainly some studies probably around on the breathing and some of the output and whatever that he around adjacent to the types of things he's working on the performance side. But Andrew came up and spoke about what he's been basically experimenting on and with a beta group for over a year now.
Yep.
Has it been over a year? I think. And yeah, so there's not a lot of study-based data back there, but I will tell you this, that because Andrew has been doing it and getting the feedback and building and changing it himself, is that I promise you, because he's gone through that experience, he knows how this mechanism works.
But that's what a true scientist would do. A true scientist would look at a study, right? So look at how the testing was done and what the conclusion is. Then through logical argumentation, he would try to see if the conclusion matches the study, and he would do the study again himself under his own testing ground to see if the study can be repeated. A study that cannot be repeated is not empirical evidence. Yeah. So everybody are quoting studies out there that they found on the internet that usually they haven't read anyway. But even if you read it, it's still, you have not repeated yourself the study. So don't give me the science purist thing. Yeah. It's not like that.
Yeah. So yesterday...
So Andrew actually spent the time, he read the study, and then he tested it on himself and then on a bunch of his athletes to get better understanding of it.
And I think you and I were even both a little bit shocked at like how much he could comprehend the depth. And you're like, holy shit, that's a whole new level of doing work.
Yeah, because I could tell right away how much work he put into it. Like, I thought he was mostly training. No. He put some a lot of work into it.
And I think eventually we'll have Andrew on the podcast so he can discuss it himself. But generally, though, the gist behind it was very often people, especially when it comes to conditioning.
I think he leaves tomorrow.
He leaves tomorrow afternoon.
Maybe we can have
get
him in the morning.
We can get him in the morning.
Yeah, let's get him in the morning.
Yeah.
That was good. Yeah.
But we'll tease next week's episode a bit here that a lot of what he teaches is people get so concerned then, like we talk with outcome or data or their output based on what a machine tells you.
But they're not. They just want validation.
Exactly.
They want validation from the machine instead of getting
you
it
did
from
good
themselves.
work. Yeah.
You want an external force to tell you you're doing good.
And they need
That's
it.
a basis of God owns morality.
And they need it constantly, often. Like if you see someone doing a 2K row, it's like, am I doing good now? Oh, my pace is good. I'm on pace. Okay, good. But they need that to tell them you're doing
and
well.
and
if you feel like shit, that still might tell you you're doing good. Or if you feel good, it might tell you you're doing like shit.
Yeah, if you feel like shit, but this tells you it's the correct pace, then it is good. No, it's not.
Not today.
Because you feel like shit.
Yeah.
Oh, no, but even that's what people understand is in a 2K road, there'll be peaks and valleys. You switch energy system or you lost your breathing or your muscle are getting taxed or whatever. You need to maybe change your technique a little bit because your legs are getting tired. You're supposed to flow within the data you're getting from your own body telling you back off on this, go harder, or I can go a little bit faster, I can go, all that stuff. And so that would be basically just something that does not that tells you where you are, but that's not what's happening. This becomes a pacer for us. It's like I have to keep that 202 or that 204 if I want to do good. Yeah, but welcome with human beings. If 202 is good, then you're going to try to stick to it. And so at the end, what it turns out, maybe not the first time and maybe not in spirit, but the idea, what happens in reality is you have the validation on how well you're doing, not based on how you're feeling, but based on what that fucking machine is telling you. And that machine is constant throughout an entire 2K row, for example, but you won't be.
Exactly.
There will be peaks and valleys and peaks, and that's the way it works. And you're supposed to go with the peaks and the valleys and know that from yourself and deal with it as it comes. That thing will not change. It will be 1 second is 1 second no matter what.
Yeah.
So that's, again, it's validation from an external force telling you are good. It's God only owning morality.
Yeah.
It's a religious mindset at the core.
Yeah. And I don't want to pull into the specifics of it because he has some really good anecdotes even from people yesterday. So we'll get into that. Pay attention next week. But what I'd like about the way, if I were to just describe it, gloss over it, if you will, I noticed that we have, I wrote this down. I think I wrote it on my luggage sticker back home because there was a pen, there was a pen and drill place and it was all I could remember to write down. But was that like, your body is not designed to respond to numbers. That's not what evolution, that's not what it is. Like someone says 10, so that means a 10 to me. That's not how this works. Someone says you're at a 140 pace, that doesn't fucking mean anything to your body.
No, by the way, not over 6 minutes. It's not true anyway.
Yeah.
Like that idea that you're going to keep a 135, maybe when you do a competition to beat the other guys, but that's not a training tool.
And what
that's
I like,
a competition tool.
And what I like about that is Andrew has set that up. I wrote that down about studies necessarily. It was actually about the people always defending science as dogma. It's like, all you're doing, you're learning, you're just throwing around a number. You're just sitting there, all you're doing is waiting for someone to drop data down so then you can change your actions. And that's kind of, it seems to me like that's a really fucking boring way to live.
Actually, it's Leonardo da Vinci who said that someone who defends himself citing a higher authority or whatever is not using his intelligence, he's just using his memory.
Yeah. And so that was
right.
the context that I wrote that around. Like why responding to numbers is not
whose number
what we're here to do. Whose number?
At what time?
And then when Andrew was speaking on that, I was like, oh, much like a lot of the things that you speak of, I like that it works on the smallest scale, on a cellular level.
Otherwise, it doesn't work.
Which gets you much closer to what is the real truth.
And you cannot control the number on that thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
They're surrendering control of themselves to the machine.
And
that's industrial revolution for you too, by the way.
Yeah. So we'll move into that next week for sure. Otherwise, I'm going to burn the rest of this episode talking about it. Because,
but so out of that, by the way, we're going to announce we're going to do the StrongFit performance seminar because we have Ray, who's teacher Olympic weightlifting. We have one of our guys called Wim. If he wants to come and talk, it'll be great. He trains runners. So he's a pure endurance guy. He's a PT as well, physiotherapist. But he trains runners. He has a few world champions and Olympians.
And he's got some cool stories that are like
exactly
what worked until it didn't and what correct. It's really
and all
cool.
that stuff. So and then Andrew will be also a big base of the seminar. So we'll go at it from performance in strength, performance in conditioning, performance in endurance. Yeah. And then I want to put a StrongFit performance seminar together. So we'll do it most likely in September.
Yeah, we'll probably do that at home here.
Really cool. Yeah, at home here, 2 days, and I'll have Andrew will be a big part. And if Ray can come, I'll have him speak. Yeah. And if Wim can come, I'll have him speak as well, explain to you what they've been doing for performance on their side. So there'll be Olympic weightlifting, pure running, pure conditioning from a pro athlete, Andrew, who is mostly doing rugby but other sports as well, and then we'll go most likely at powerlifting too.
Yeah, yeah. And what's nice is each one of these guys has a massive amount of their own time invested into figuring it out for their thing, and that's what I like. It's
high level.
Is that they have taken the principles they learned from you and done the same thing that you do with the things that you find. Is process it, try and experiment, and boil it down to the thing that fits
always.
In their space.
I'm not against reading studies. I read studies all the time. I'm all for it. My problem is when people stop there. You can't just learn. You can't learn life from a book.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. You have to read the book. Don't get me wrong. You have to educate yourself always. But at some point, you're gonna have to put it into practice, and that's where I get frustrated. And when people say, "Show me the study," I was like, "You're not gonna find an answer in a book, dude.
Yeah.
You can read the book, but that's not what the answer is. The book is just memorization. It's just information. To turn it into knowledge, you're gonna have to go test it yourself. And that's where I find most people extremely lazy, is they read about studies and go like, yeah, that's what it is. I'm like, have you tried? Have you put the work in onto all that stuff? And then, and they go, that's confirmation bias. Not if you read enough.
Yeah.
This is hardly the only study I've ever read. Yeah. So.
And then yesterday, as we progressed through the day, we kind of get through, you and Richard spoke in the morning, then we had Ray and we broke out, and Andrew, and we get towards the end of the day, and there's usually, when you have a gathering of a bunch of people in the same thing, the question is always, okay, Julian, so where's StrongFit headed in the next year? Because this is a thing we kind of do annually. And the first thing was, I don't have a fucking clue.
I don't have a fucking clue. I still don't know. I know everybody wants to know. And if I did, I would tell you. I just don't.
Well, and it's like, no, I want you to pretend like you know.
Yeah.
And I want you to speak about success generally and just keep talking about it.
I'm going to write a book. And
just Gary V your way.
I will eventually. Yeah.
Yeah, so get successful just talking about success. Silly shit. But I like that when you sat there, you're just like, I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm going to do what I'm doing today and tomorrow and try to build on that. But you're not doing things.
I can tell you, where is StrongFit coming to a better place, hopefully. Yeah. What are you going to do? Hopefully better.
Yeah.
That's what I'm going to do.
And if anyone believes that you're a businessman first, they're missing the fucking boat. And
this isn't a business I'm running. This isn't a system. I'm just trying to learn shit about humans.
Yeah.
And along the way, I share the stuff with people.
Well, and at some point, I mean, there has to be money. It's necessary and it has value, so you can sell it. But the moment if those priorities ever get switched,
you'll know.
I'm probably not going to work for you anymore.
No, and everybody will know because you'll see the difference.
Yeah. And so I think that's always important. If the answer is I don't know, I'd rather hear you say I don't know than be like, guys, we're about to release the new iPhone 15.
Yeah, exactly.
You know?
It's exactly that. Or they want, and then because there's the other people criticizing us by saying it's just it's got somewhat of a cult. It's just based on the charisma of Julian and everything. It's like that's because you're not inside the community trying the shit, saying all the stuff we do. It's not a downside.
Yeah.
But this is, and it's not a negative. Don't get me wrong. But what people don't understand is a lot of you don't understand what StrongFit is. I mean, the listeners probably do a lot better because you've seen the other podcasts, but something new into StrongFit, most likely won't understand what it is because we don't explain it.
Yeah, and it's hard to. It takes time.
No, but plus I have no interest. Because the point is I'm not going to explain it and sell you a system and say, try this and everything. What you need to do is you need to delve into everything we do, into the nutrition, the training, all that stuff. Go on the StrongFit community, see the results that people are going through themselves. And they'll tell you in their words how all this works for them. That's what you should be doing. Yeah. You should research what we do by listening to regular people, not top athletes, regular people talk about what we have discovered has affected them personally in their lives as human beings. That is when you'll understand what StrongFit does.
Yeah.
I can't explain it. It'd be an infomercial, and I have no desire of doing it anyway.
Yeah.
So, but that's why so I do not explain well what StrongFit is. That's true. It's because StrongFit is not a thing. It's not a business. It's not Apple. It's like it is. I explain all the time why I do the stuff, but I can't explain to you exactly what StrongFit is, and I won't.
Yeah. And that doesn't mean that you don't know. You know what you're putting out, and that process is what it is.
But
to me,
I'm not going to waste my time explaining what is it that StrongFit represents. I'm like, it's like talking about
just
myself.
Get in. Well, that's it exactly, Julian. What are you? It's like, well,
Exactly.
Jesus Christ. Let's
I'm a human.
get to know me.
Yes, exactly.
And then you'll know.
But do you think I can explain who I am like this in 30 minutes?
Yeah.
No, you're just going to get my backstory. Who I grew up, where I grew up, what happened. But that's not going to tell you who I am. The only way you're going to know who I am is if you talk to the person close to me and they tell you their version of what they see. That's how this works.
But when somebody says like, oh, well, the StrongFit stuff isn't necessarily going to be able to stand on its own without Julian, because Julian's just charismatic and teaches it well. It's like, here's what I believe actually. I believe at the moment they're probably right fully. And in my opinion, that's just because right now you're moving very quickly in the last year.
Yes.
And we're seeing now some people that are finally getting this really good application stuff rounded out behind you. But that took someone with the initiative like Andrew or Wim to do it for nothing at a massive amount of effort cost to themselves, to get other people in the middle to do it, time, and then also to do it right. And so they get all that in, but what you have then is, it's a small piece, and here's another small piece. But now where are we compared to where that is? You've laid a lot of new stuff in the last 6 months now.
Yeah.
So all of that starts coming in, and what I think it just takes time for people to catch up.
5 years from now, there'll be established stuff that will survive whether I'm there or not.
Yeah.
So the top of the spear, like the stuff that is the most advanced, yes, that is not fully formed, that won't survive without me right now. But 5 years, 10 years from now, what I'm talking about today will be established, and there'll be other guys that have spent more time in it than I have actually, that will establish it. And that was always my goal. My goal was, and I've said this I don't know how many times, is I'm just discovering stuff. People smarter than me or willing to put more time than me in a specific area will come up with better stuff.
You mean you're not going to just do assault bike conditioning for 2 years?
I'm not doing it.
You know what I mean? Like
for
that.
2K, that.
What I like is that's the thing.
know.
That's the thing that you were never going to come up with.
No.
You could have talked about how the principles to apply to it, but the only way that was going to work for a person is they had to do that.
You have to try. Like the breathing stuff. You have to try airdyne, like let's say 100 calories on an airdyne, nose breathing only.
Yeah.
Nose, mouth. What happens? I'm not doing it.
Yeah, I don't blame you.
It's all right. I love you all. I don't love you enough, I guess. Yeah. So there's shit like that. Like I like strongman. So there's always going to be like endurance. I'll always say it's not my thing. I understand the concept. I've read enough, but I've not done it enough.
Yeah.
Right? I've done conditioning on the jiu-jitsu map. I've done conditioning for strongman, but like the whole what it's like to run a marathon, I have no fucking clue. So I'm never going to train someone for a marathon because I don't know how to do it because I'm not a runner.
Yeah.
So there are specific applications where can I make sure a marathon runner does not get hurt? Yes, I can help in that aspect. But if you want me to help you run a marathon, again, making sure you don't get hurt, I can do that. But making you peak for a marathon, I'm not the guy.
It's not my department.
It's not mine.
Yeah.
But I know people that have applied the StrongFit principles toward that and will do very well.
Yeah.
It's like the work I've done for the CrossFit Games athletes is to make sure they don't break. That's what I do. It's okay, I'll make sure you don't break. But do I know how to teach you to do muscle up? Fuck no. I think I've done 12 in my life. 7 of them in a row.
It's 12 more than I've done.
It's like 5. It was because it was 5 singles. And I did 7 in a row. I'm like, I got it.
No, we're good.
Yeah, because it was strict. But then
it's kind of the same way.
Somewhat strict.
I have a few of those CrossFit movements where I just do every once in a while
handstand push-ups,
to throw in the face of the middle of the road CrossFitters that I can still do more handstand push-ups than them and toes to bar and double unders.
Yeah. And as long as you get that, you're good.
And as long as I only have to do them in one shot, that's fine.
I've never learned double unders. I don't think I ever will. I was really good at jumping rope, being a fighter, but double unders, I'm like, nah.
No, there's 2 things. Double unders.
I don't have calves.
Being good at double unders, this is what I always tell those guys that really want to get good at those things. I'm like, being really good at double unders is never going to get you laid, and it's never going to save you in a fight.
No, but plus the idea that
Just get strong.
It's not the paramount of athleticism.
Yes.
Double unders, guys, I'm sorry. I'm not saying it's a waste of time. I'm just saying I still don't understand what you're doing them for. I insulted all the CrossFitters. Sorry, honey. I don't get it. Triple unders, I'm like, good for you. Party tricks. You're going to do that at parties? How about showing the... I love you all.
Get big arms. I promise
it works a lot better.
In life and double.
You don't even need, if we go that well, just screw your legs. Like, you're not going to show your legs at a party. If you do, it's weird, right? You are at a bar, it's kind of hard to put your leg on the counter, but you can start flexing the bicep in
That's right.
You know, the bakeries over there kind of thing. Like that always works.
It's the big pecs cash.
You think I got the hot young wife?
Was it because of his
Lats.
legs?
It was the lats. It was the lats all the way. I turned around making sure I was flexing a bit. I mean, she was like, ooh, you're not a CrossFitter, are you?
It's like, oh, she's a lat girl.
Well, first of all, look at her lats. And in a room full of CrossFitters, she was like, ooh, yeah, I stand out. That's the point. So I make sure I do my lat pull downs. I mean,
speaking of standing out, when we showed up there yesterday at, how do you pronounce the gym? Because I'm going to mess it up. There's a lot of hach in it. I think it's hach.
You asking me?
I don't know. You're around, so I figure there's more.
I don't speak Dutch.
In your lane.
Yeah, it's been here a year. I don't speak.
Anyway, it's KRACHT,
CHT.
but is the host, something like that.
I don't know. I'm not going to.
Anyway, really
Charlotte's
nice spot,
gym.
brand new Charlotte's spot. So check it out.
Oh,
it's
it was
really
so cool. It's a beautiful place. She built a gym from the ground up.
I heard that. I
That's
kind
very
of thought,
impressive.
but so you look at it like, not only is this news brand fucking new, like opened a couple months ago, but beautiful
Cool
spot.
spot.
It was really nice, and they were really, really friendly. We went through.
We try not to fuck it up too bad.
We went through 8 kilos of coffee.
She was like, how can you guys drink that much coffee? I was like, yeah, 40 people, 8 kilos
and you
of
didn't
coffee.
have any.
I won.
I only had one.
I won. You had 2.
I did.
So
Too many, but one too many because
I don't know.
I was falling asleep at lunch.
I don't know how many espressos are in 8 kilos of coffee beans, but
Well, actually, one espresso is about 17 grams. A good one. So at 16 grams per, that's 150 espresso?
no.
No, sorry, my bad. 8 kilos. Well, 15 grams, so you get 15, that's so 100, you get a kilo 5.
Let's say 80
so
for every.
Yeah, 600.
Jesus Christ, 600 espressos. And my question is, no matter what,
500 espressos.
it must have been after the socialization and then the crash after the performance work, because I'm like, how are you guys?
Wait,
still
there
tight?
was 40 of us. That's 12 espresso per person.
And I won.
That's why she was surprised. Fuck me, yeah.
Maybe
50 people. That's 10 espressos per person. That's a shitload of coffee.
maybe our people are just fucking insane. I don't know.
Maybe they're all addicted to caffeine. How about that? Yeah.
That's how they're so productive.
Yeah, they had 10 espresso per person. Oh, that's fucking
Unbelievable. Unbelievable. But it was funny. We went in there, speaking of standing out in the CrossFit gym, and me and little Tyler's here. And so me and little Tyler's about 6'2", 6'3", and I think now he's about 280, 275. So I'm about 25 pounds heavier
That's why
than
he's
him.
big Tyler.
So I'm big Tyler, he's little Tyler. But Charlotte came up to us after we were there for about 15 minutes and said, so the people in there were freaking out when you guys came in because they're like, are those guys going to join the class? And it was like, not if I want to keep looking like this, I don't. I'm not. But anyway, in the end, it was a really good day. We wrapped it up. I expected it to be what it was, which was a lot of people hanging out, talking, meeting each other. I actually didn't expect it to be as much of a, in my opinion, it was almost a seminar.
Yeah, it turned out to be kind of,
but a little more low key, right? Because you didn't pay $1,000 to be there. You know, so just like $100, come hang out with the people that think the things you do. And I was sitting there as you were speaking, and Andrew and Richard and Ray. I was like, there's a lot of value for $100 these people got. You know,
but it was for the community.
Cool.
I mean,
correct.
It was to show them, like, guys, it's not the money. Like, it's $100 for each. It was like, yeah, it's all good. Like,
they
just if we want to pay for 8 kilos of coffee, because 500 espresso, that's going to cost us. It's going to cost us over $1,000.
And there's some poor woman just grinding, pounding coffee out.
No, it's going to cost us $1,000 worth of espresso. That's fucking insane, by the way.
That is insane.
So it was to pay for food, for coffee, for the beers
Yeah.
that she got us. Like there was a local brewery that got us beers and everything. So it was to pay for that and say like, hey guys, this is where we are right now.
Yeah.
Welcome.
I always forget too, though, like in that process, it was good because there's a lot of stuff we talk about and we put together in the mentoring program. Some of those people aren't in the mentoring program. They're around.
Most of them were not, yeah.
So it was actually a really good way for them, maybe someone who took a seminar a year and a half ago.
To catch up a bit.
Yeah, it was kind of nice.
But
They
I
could
love
get into
those
the loop
'cause
a little bit with
I
where
don't have
things
to
are.
go with a structure. I just talk about the stuff I feel like talking about, and then it's a lot like, yeah, that's where we are. And why I enjoy being able to say, why do I do what I do? And why do I teach it the way I do? Because I know the frustration of people of like, you don't do this or you're not structured on that. I'm like, yeah, on purpose.
Yeah. Also, you would hate it if you had to do it the other way.
I won't. It's like people that say, do you have to do a podcast like this and like that? No, we don't. Mm-mm. And we won't. Because we like it like this.
Yeah.
And if you don't like it, there's how many fitness podcasts out there on Apple?
A fuckload.
1,000?
Many thousands. Many thousands.
There you go.
And we pop into the top 50.
Oh, do your own. By the way, I have an even better solution. Create your own. That way I can watch it. Yeah. And I'll be commenting on YouTube that you suck.
Yeah, and it's easier to start than you think.
Yeah.
Remember Ray? Yes, the other day when Ray was here, you know, Ray has like a sound guy background, a media, and certainly if you've had issues with the sound, whatever, I don't care in the past, but it's we're improving as we go, right? But he couldn't believe that we film it with just a couple of old phones that I have. Yeah. He's like, what? And I was like, I'm not lugging around cameras. And he even mentioned like his best camera that he have overheats after 20 minutes, so he couldn't even do it with that setup. I'm like, yeah, we're gonna do it the way it doesn't give us headaches, you know?
Guys, we're doing it again. Like, create your own. It's even easier than that. Like, we're just talking and we're going to do what we like to do. Otherwise, we'll stop.
Yeah.
And I'm at a stage where that's something we talked about in the gathering, where I'm going to do what I do for the people that want to learn from me. And if that's not you, that's cool. Go somewhere else.
Yeah.
But by the way, if you don't want to learn from us, if you're just hanging around, go away.
Yeah.
Go away. If you just basically not even saying thank you for all the free knowledge that you give and you're just there to bitch about I didn't like this or I didn't like that, then go away. Do your own podcast. See what it's like to put stuff out there. It's like all the people I criticize. It's always people that never do anything. Like the Fides in Aruba saying like, how dare you say she gained muscle and not water? I was like, okay, so now, by the way, now that we have the test that proves it was muscle, not water, did that change anything?
Of course not. Yeah.
Right? I still knew I was right, because what else could it have been? Like, that's where I get frustrated. I'm like, so you're telling me that I'm gonna have to go spend money and time getting a test to prove to you that I was not wrong. For what?
When there was nothing about this
that
would ever
listen,
make him happy.
Yeah, and you're still not gonna listen to me. And now you just moved on to the next troll or the next stuff that you like to do in your life. But in the meantime, like what? I'm supposed to change mine. This is what we do, and if you don't like it, it's all good.
Well, and I think it's important to remember too, we talk about seeking external validation.
Yes, I don't.
And that's not the point of any of this. And also I think it's important as a coach, you need to remember too, as you go down, if you're coaching regular people in any case, if you have people that don't want to learn from you,
don't hang them around. Don't take the money.
You, and even if you care and say they're hurt and they really don't want to get better, they don't want to feel better, they're working against themselves constantly.
Don't take the money.
That shit will pull you underwater so fast it will make you hate coaching.
And the only reason you're doing it is for the money. Yeah. Don't take the money. Have your own integrity on this. Yeah. Sean Roden, Mr. Olympia, right, just went to a guest posing like a month ago or something like that, looking like shit for Mr. Olympia, right? He was smaller, like he's someone who won Mr. Olympia on his lines. So very, very conditioned, great lines, smaller stomach compared to, and all that stuff, right? And he went to guest posing because Mr. Olympia, so he got paid. He takes his clothes off. He show up in tennis with the stuff like that. He's coming in, he's doing this and doing it. He didn't even hit the poses, not correctly. That was not guest posing. That was him showing almost at a party, taking the pants off and then done. And there was an outrage on that because it wasn't not just like strolling around and stuff. He got paid for guest posing. And imagine if you're a kid in the audience looking at Mr. Olympia, looking like shit.
Watching him just
for
not
Mr.
care.
Olympia, not for a regular guy, but for Mr. Olympia, he was fat. He was just not in shape. See, I don't start training till January. That means he's off the juice mostly. He's not training.
Less of the juice.
But he's not really training, which is fine. Keep your clothes on.
Yeah.
Don't take the money.
Yeah.
keep your clothes on.
Because not only
There's nothing wrong with saying, I don't train till January, I don't want, that's perfectly fine. Keep your
because
clothes
as
on.
it should be too, right? That's as
Good
your
for you,
season
it's
should
healthy.
be.
It's
Yeah.
healthier. Sorry.
Yeah.
It's healthier.
But you can't take the
for
money
you.
with integrity at that point.
Don't take the money, keep your clothes on. Or you tell the guy, I'll take the money, but I won't take my clothes off. Which in that case you won't. But so it's the same thing. Don't take the money, keep your clothes on.
Yeah, because I can't give you what you want, because you don't fucking know what you want, or what you want certainly isn't this. you
Or
know?
whatever it is, like the validation you want, or you want a simplified version or something, or because I know usually they want a calorie. What they want is they want an external validation of their belief. That's what they want, right? So first of all, if I go against their belief, they'll fight every step of the way because I do it on a regular basis. But so if there's not a willingness to at least challenge that, I can't help you.
So how many grams of protein do I need to
Yes.
recover from a strength day?
Exactly. I was like,
the,
well,
the answer is
there is no,
as
yeah.
much as you need to recover from the strength day. And
as much as you can
need.
digest.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because that's
So-
not, because they'll say 60 grams. I'm like, okay, can you digest 60 grams? Not you, me, just you.
Yeah.
In with the life conditions that you have. So now what we're talking about is doing one-on-one coaching, which I'm more than willing to do. But two things. First, you're going to have to be willing to learn. Then you're going to have to be willing to pay, because you're going to have to show that you're going to put the work in.
There's a lot of types of nearly one-on-one coaching type requests and questions out there.
I got
for
my
free.
heart broken many times, giving great speeches, putting my heart into it just to have someone going, yeah, yeah, I didn't do it. There was something else, like with my girlfriend, we went to eat dinner instead, or like people have, not people, sorry. There is a certain number of people out there that show no value for the work we put into this.
Yeah.
So, and I have that me, I get annoyed at a lot of them, actually a lot of those coaches uses the results that we get,
Yes.
right? For their own programming to make an extra $1, but without showing the respect and give the credit where credit is due for all the work that was put to get those results. So, and again, it's just reading a study saying it says that is worthless, that is meaningless. Like you have to read the study, understand what it says, logical evidence, and then turn it into anecdotal evidence by testing it yourself. Once you have empirical evidence to logical evidence to anecdotal evidence, you know a subject. But if you just think you can just read a study and not invest yourself in it, you put your own sweat in it, your own blood in it, then you have not learned anything. You are not a true scientist. A true scientist, because that all the time, like I'm not a true scientist, is someone who will understand anecdotal, logical, and empirical evidence, who reads the study, try to understand the meaning of it, and then go test it himself, herself, with themselves, right? You are not investing yourself into your craft. So once that happens, I want nothing to do with you. Once you are willing to do it, then I love you, and then I will help you to my capacity. But you're gonna have to be at this stage. You're gonna have to prove to me that you are willing to do that. I don't have to prove it to you because I've done shit.
Yeah.
I've proven myself. I've done shit. I've helped people enough. I have enough results with the StrongFit thing that it's up to you to prove to me that you want it and not me proving to you that you should come this way. So I'm at a stage where no, I do not have to come your way. You need to come mine. That is how it's works. I don't have to prove you anything. You need to prove to me that you want to learn. Because why? Because I've earned it.
I believe it fully. And what, on the other side of that, when you say, well, I'm going to do this, and I mean, you're going to have to pay before I'm going to give this advice. You're going to have to pay.
The why, yeah.
Exactly. But it's because you got to pay because it's about investing yourself. And some people can think that, though, that's harsh, it's expensive, and
yes,
it's
it is.
about
That's
one.
on purpose,
But
too.
one, it's about skin in the game.
Yes.
More than it's about
exactly
money.
That, yeah. Yeah, let me
And
explain
it's
to you
almost
why.
not about money, because the truth
No, it's
is
not.
you have lots of other clients, which means, and you've said
don't
this,
need one,
you've said
yeah.
this, you don't need one more over a higher or less price. And you've said this before, like, listen, if money really is the problem, I'll find another way for you to prove to me that you want it.
But, okay, so in the old days of martial arts, for example, in Japan, when you join the dojo, you will give, because it was mostly, dojos were not like what we do now in CrossFit classes. It was basically private students, like because dojo was fairly small, right? You went to a master, you gave him half of what you had. Half, if you're rich, is a lot. If you're poor, it's nothing. Didn't matter. That was not the point. The point is half, because that's how much you need to commit to becoming a master. Because the master's time is invaluable, and it has to be paid in kind, in that sense. So you have to give something that is a tremendous value
to you,
which is half of what you owe.
Yeah.
What you have in life, right? And so that was the key. But in the sense is that it's like I have people saying, yeah, but you couldn't help me with this, you could help me with that. It's like, okay, but when you say that, you're saying that your time is more valuable than mine. Because you're saying that hour that I'm going to spend on you, not even knowing if you respect it, if you're going to put the work into it, that's an hour I take away from my daughter, from Kyla, from my training, from playing pool, from learning, from progressing the system, from helping others, from helping myself.
And all of that is separate from the things you have to do to operate a business to feed yourself.
Yeah, but even like that hour that I'm giving you, that means I'm not giving it to someone else. Like, so it's my training, it's my daughter, it's Kyla, it's pool, it's all that stuff. You're saying that hour that I give you is more important than all those potential hours, because I'm fairly busy and I do a lot. So that hour that I give you, it's something that I have to sacrifice. And you telling me that hour that I sacrifice for stuff I really want to do, like playing pool or spending time with my hot young wife or stuff like that, you telling me it's not worth anything. Yeah. Oh, but that you'd be so nice. I would be, yes. But that doesn't mean that you're going to do this stuff, because you have no skin in the game. So you asking me...
So you're not even helping them at that point, really?
I really don't think I am. Yeah. Because I've tested it. I've done assessment for free, and my rate of success on free assessment has been 0%. Because people don't do the shit because they have no skin in the game. It has no value to them because I did not put a value to it. If you want something, people judge something of a higher value by the value the person who owns that thing puts on it. A Porsche is valuable. Why? Because it's being sold for that much. If it was being sold for less, it'd be less valuable.
Yeah,
that's the way things work. So when people say, oh, I'm broke, I'm like, then get a second job. But you're going to have to, not for the money, because you're going to have to prove to me that you value my time. Otherwise, you're saying your time is more valuable than mine. And in that case, why are you asking me then?
Yeah, and I
got news, it's not.
And the thing is, we have people who are very invested in, who don't have much money. Mm-hmm. And you know what? It really works.
Emmanuel from Greece.
Yeah.
His salary is 900 euros. A third of his salary goes to the mentoring program.
Yeah.
So
he's putting in the work.
Yeah. Sorry, but we have guys like that. His salary is 900 euros. A third of that goes to the mentoring program. That's insane. Mm-hmm. A third of his salary goes to the mentoring program. So whenever you say I don't have this, I don't have that, I'm sorry. I have no...
And that's the thing, that if I'm in your shoes, is that it matters that much to a person like that much, like 60% or 30% of your total income, that's what it means to him. And for you, so someone else who it doesn't matter even for 1% of their income, because it's expensive at 1%. It's like, well, then who do you want to work with? I want to teach a guy who it matters to.
Because my work, by the way, will do things. Yeah. Whereas with you, it won't, because you won't put the effort into it, because you're not invested into it. Because you want it probably for the wrong reasons, or maybe you're just not in a place, wherever that place is, that is deep enough that you're willing to challenge yourself enough to learn from me. So no, I won't. Yeah. So that's why, I'm going to start a website called Julian's Corner. It's going to be julianscorner.com. It should be, by the time this comes out, it should be out. And on it, it'll be like, I'll do coaching, one-on-one coaching. You want access to me 24/7, monthly, but it'll be 2,000 euros a month. And you have access to me at all times. Like we'll have one video call per week. You can text me, you can send me email. We'll do your programming, all the stuff. Why so expensive? So that you want to do the work. And if you not do the work, don't worry, you don't have to pay, because I'll fire you.
Yeah. And then and then with that, the nice thing is, having set that up, is what I like about it is there's opportunities then too for, say, if someone gets in on the nutrition stuff and they would like to, before they start, have a one-on-one call with you. Now there's a place where they can do that instead of just like messaging you, which you don't just get one of those requests a day, like for, hey, can I just ask you some questions?
Yeah.
If you say yes to half of them, there's not enough hours in the day.
No, but plus, most of those questions we answered in a podcast.
Yeah.
They just want a personalized answer. So you have two ways of getting that. You try the stuff and you come up with it, or you're going to pay me a lot of money, because you're going to have to show to me that time that I spend will have results.
Yeah.
I just don't want to work for nothing. Not nothing in the sense of money. I just don't want to work for no result. My work is important and I believe fairly precious in that sense. And results should come from that work. So I don't want to work for nothing in that sense, for no result. And if you don't invest yourself in it, we won't get results.
It's funny, it's a similar thing I remember doing. I would install systems in people's houses, right? And there's a lot of those days when I was installing, things were repetitive because they build 10 houses in a row, they all look the same, right?
Exactly, yeah.
And it's one of the things that would make me the most crazy is I would do something. That work itself is easy. It's just kind of A, B, C. You're just putting things together, building and going, right? And I would finish that and it would be unsatisfying, but it's complete, it's done, and we move on to the next thing.
You do it.
And a couple days later, someone would say, "Oh, the electricians are here. They pulled down a few things, so you have to go back and put them back together." Now, do you know what I was going to be doing that day? The exact same thing, just next door.
Yeah.
And then I was going to do that again the next day and again. However, the fact that I was redoing a thing that I already did is fucking maddening.
Yes.
And I got paid the same. I would have been doing
It's
the
the
same
same
thing,
work.
but it's like, no. I already put in the work to this. Don't fuck now that it
Now
was
you're
for
super
nothing.
annoyed, yeah.
Even though I got compensated for the time, because it was for nothing, I would be so fucking mad about it. And I think that's still pretty reasonable, kind of, because it is my time. Whether I got paid for it or not, like I don't like doing the same shit. Like redoing the shit for no results, not the world I want to be in.
That's what is the most disheartening is when you put work and you get no results from it.
Yeah.
So me, that's why I do it, is to see people do better. So there's nothing that kills me more than someone who wants my time. I give it, I put myself, because I invest myself into what I do, to get someone who treats it like, again, I'm giving them the keys to the Ferrari and they treat it like a lawnmower. To me, that's the most disrespectful, is you don't understand how long I had to sweat to get to the conclusion I came to. Like, it's so much work that was put in. And so to have someone treating it like very casually, not doing anything with it after asking me for help is disheartening every time. So I'm at a stage where, and after a while you start to wonder, why am I doing this for in the first place? Like, you start to lose faith in people, at least some, right? So now I'm like, I don't want to feel like that about people. So I'm going to put a barrier so that I don't get disappointed like that again.
And to tie back into even like kind of the thing, we joked about this in the beginning, right? How nobody gets to touch this pool table except for Julian, right? Now, while that is one, true.
Yes.
Two, kind of funny. I look at it as you are preserving the sanctity of something that has value to you in a process and things, which means if you were okay with me and Kayla, who certainly would probably just scuff the shit out of this thing all the time, if that was okay, then now that makes your practice, when you're trying to treat this as a craft, now it's gone because the thing has just kind of been disrespected. Whether it's right, wrong, or we're not being. It's like you dirty up this process. You no longer can treat it like the skill you're honing.
Just what is the value of your dreams?
Yeah.
Right? Like, do your dreams have value? If they don't, you need better ones.
And that's exactly why you're not going to diminish this process of teaching and all this stuff by just
because it is my dream.
Oh, he doesn't give a fuck. I'm just going to run after him to try to convince him. It's like, no, fuck off. I'll give it somewhere else. I can't dirty this up.
Yeah, that's exactly that. It's like StrongFit is my dream that I've made actually real, and I'm not going to lessen it. I'm not going to dirty it by letting someone with sticky fingers play with it.
Yeah.
Because you're not showing the proper respect.
Yeah.
Which is the world I come from with martial arts and stuff like that. It's like there's certain things you don't treat casually. It's like, not to compare what I do to a work of art, but imagine someone putting their fingers on a work of art is disrespectful. That should offend you as a human being inside.
Yeah. And just like with martial arts, there's a thing where not only do you have to earn it once, you need to continue to earn it amongst the people around you every single day.
Like, your teacher will fire you or will beat the shit out of you if you don't like you, and that's humans. Like, you make mistakes, that's fine, but then you're gonna have to earn your way back in, and that's it's a human condition. Yeah. But you will not put your dirty fingers on this.
Yeah.
And I'm at a stage where I'm like, well, I'm successful enough. I'm like, no more. I tried to convince people at first, but I also had to learn the hard way that it doesn't work like that.
Yeah. It certainly doesn't.
You can't.
So let's dive into we're about time to jump into our segment here before we wrap up.
How long do we got?
We probably got like 10 minutes, 15 minutes.
Oh, fuck no. We're doing the next one.
Okay.
Or we'll stop that one early. That'll be our podcast about the gathering. And then we'll take 5-minute break and then we do this one.
Okay.
So we'll do 2 episodes.
Okay, perfect. So we'll come back next week.
All right. So we are next week. Yeah.
We'll come back next week.
So we might be in the same room next week wearing the same t-shirts, but it is next week.
I mean, I brought a change of t-shirts, but...
No, because by then I will have washed everything and just put it back on again.
That's right.
And by the way, just to show you how Kyla sucks at puzzles, that puzzle will not have progressed within this week.
7 days, not a single piece will be...
That's how bad they are at this. Kyla and my daughter are playing together on this. This is how bad they are. 1 week and they still haven't made zero progress on the fucking puzzle.
Just the trash talk is so strong with this
She's
one.
hot. What do you want me to say? Like, I could not say no.
All the other good stuff, guys, strongfitequipment.com, strongfitequipment.eu for Europe, Manta Fitness for Australia.
Mm-hmm.
We're hoping there's going to be some new dope shirts around soon, but we're just waiting
we
for them to
ordered
show
them
up.
like what, 6 weeks ago, 8 weeks ago?
Be there today.
Oh, fuck. I hope no, it's Sunday. They're not going to be here today.
So tomorrow.
But they
So
may
tomorrow.
have got here yesterday.
We ordered
Wasn't
them-
that a possibility that they got around
Maybe we
yesterday?
ordered them like at what, 8 weeks ago?
We messed up.
Why is it the hardest thing ever to get t-shirts? That industry has to be the worst industry I've ever had to deal with.
We went through 4 separate printers when I was with Massonomics, and we ended up going with another that was totally separate, only because they did stuff for other apparel companies, which meant there was larger volumes and quality control mattered. Like if you're printing t-shirts for like a basketball team going to the state tournament,
No one gives a
like
shit.
they're not selling them and turning them back if there's a problem. No one gives a fuck. Here's a pile of shirts, hand them out to the kids. They don't like them, go fuck yourself.
Like if they had people with actual skill in this industry, they make a killing.
Oh, and with not only that, because they take a lot of money from it. There's no money in selling apparel. Like it's just a way we like to get things out.
But the printers, they do all right. Yeah.
But the whole process, like there's no real liaison for even like I've had it's like, well, maybe give me some ideas too. You know, like throw around
That's
like, hey, you
extra.
have this because well, I don't care if it's extra. If you're in that line of work and you want to help make a thing happen, like, hey, we got
have a
this new
designer.
thing, cool. Like, set this up. Do you think this would be cool? Even simple. What if we just threw your logo on this? We got this new shirt. Like someone with some sales initiative and some follow through. You would be head and shoulders above
everybody else. You make a killing.
And I'm now. This is basically 3 separate countries that I've been with people
Same
with
problems,
this. And,
all of them. The t-shirt printing industry is shit.
Yeah.
That's something. Yeah.
Take a craftsman's approach to that, somebody, please.
And you'll make a killing, and I'll come to ask you to make the shirts.
Yes. Everything else, StrongFit1 on Instagram, Tyler F. and Stone on Instagram.
UK32.
UK32. Gosh, that's it for this week, guys. So we'll see you next week. Totally forgot about that might be a bit. I'll just reset real quick. And we'll go. And if we go 30 minutes, it's fine too. Okay.
That's why I wanted to tell you that, you understand. Like this is the bomb.